Good afternoon, all. In last lecture, we have started freehand sketching of machine components. Okay. In that, we have discussed the syllabus. So, syllabus slide is in front of you. So, what contents we are going to study in this? So, it is just in front of you. Okay. After that, importance. So, in depth, we have discussed, irrespective of having n number of instruments, drawing instruments, and softwares also. This why this chapter is introduced in the syllabus. So, these are the reasons where why this particular chapter is introduced in the syllabus. So, though we are having drawing instruments called scale, drafter, eraser, all, and softwares including AutoCAD, further CATIA, etc. So, irrespective of that, also this software is introduced in the syllabus. After that, we have seen thread terminology. Here we have seen the basic: what is crest, what is root, what is flank, angle of thread. So to whom we should call as angle of thread. Then two important terms: one is minor diameter, another one is major diameter. That we have seen. Means even we have discussed the nut and bolts are specified by major diameter. Nut and bolts are specified by major diameter. It is also called as nominal diameter. And at the end of this thread terminology, we have seen what does it mean by lead and pitch. Okay, that we have seen. So pitch, once we will come across the word pitch, so it is nothing but the distance between 2 points, TWO. But how they should be similar and consecutive. Unless and until they are not similar and consecutive, we cannot call it as a pitch. That we have seen. After that, we have seen lead. Means once we are going to rotate nut or bolt through one complete rotation, nut or bolt through one complete rotation, the distance advanced by nut or bolt is called as pitch. Sorry, is called as lead, not pitch. Sorry, is called as lead. Further, up till now, just we have discussed related to the thread. But once we will come a little away or little forward to the thread, so basically there are two types of thread. One is left hand thread denoted by LH. Another one is right hand thread denoted by RH. So there are again two further methods are there. Which are they? One of the method is identification method, visualization, or we can say observation. By observing the thread also we can identify which type of thread. So orientation we have to see from where threads are passing, from where to where threads are passing, and from that we can see. Okay, so orientation we have to check. Means, again it should be a downward, something like this. Either it should be downward or in this way downward, and that downward arrow we have to see. Where from where to where? This side is RH, this side is LH, this side is LH, this side is RH. Means this downward line is going towards L left hand side, so it is left hand side thread, and it is going towards right hand side, it is right hand side in this way. On the other hand, rotation method is also there to identify the thread. Once we are going to hold bolt in our hand, nut in your left hand, once we are going to rotate it, once we are going to rotate nut or bolt through clockwise rotation, and if it will advance means going forward, then it is called as clockwise rotation plus advance is equal to right hand thread. Simple formula. So further formulas we can derive how it should be. After that, we have seen types of threads. So quickly, so once thread will come into picture, so two things we have to remember. Which are they? What we have seen? Which two things we have to remember? Mostly, roll number three. Once we are
Yes.
going to come across, uh, which two things we have to remember as far as these threads are concerned? Thread types. Which two things are
Thread
important as
angle
far as
and
type?
application.
Very good. Thread angle and application. So once we are going to study this uh, thread types of thread, it's very important to identify, or we should remember thread angle and application, because as far as multiple choice question, irrespective of online or offline exam, so this application and angle of thread is most important. So in first profile is given how it will be, what will be the profile of that thread, and another thing is what angle. So angle of thread is how much in case of with worm thread, how much angle is So it is there. How much? 55. Okay. And what is the application? We have discussed the with worm thread or BSW thread. What is the application of this? Anybody is remembering?
Leak proof.
Leak proof application. So that is there. Square thread. What is the angle of square thread? Quickly, fast. We have discussed this. What is the angle of square thread?
0.
0 degree. And what is 90? What is the advantage of 90 degree in case of square thread? So profile of thread is at 90 degree to axis of thread, something like this. So 90 degree or perpendicular. So here that thread profile is perpendicular. Here it is perpendicular, perpendicular, something like this, perpendicular in this way. Okay, so 0 degree is the angle. Thread profile is perpendicular. Then what is that? Application. So whenever there is high load in that case, square threads are used. So which are the components? Uh, are you knowing? So we have discussed the two components where square threads are used. Which two components? For which two components it is used?
Screw jack
Anybody is
and
remembering?
lead screw.
Very good. Screw jack and lead screw means in case of vehicle, when we want to lift the vehicle to certain distance while changing the tires, etc. In that case, so such square threads are there for the component called as screw jack. One further component is there called as lead screw in case of lathe machine. It is also used. Further, acme thread. What is the angle of acme thread? Very famous question from our machine drawing. What is the angle of acme thread? What is the angle of acme thread? What is the angle of acme thread?
29 degree.
29 degrees. So here it is 29 degrees. Okay, 29 degrees is the angle. And what is the application? So one of the component we have discussed. What was that? Bench hoist. So once you will be in college, these components are there in our workshop where machines are there. So in that case, it is bench hoist. Okay, so you can see that component. Actually, we have discussed a lot many things related to filing. Once we want to make smooth component, when we are just rubbing the file is one of the mechanical component. While rubbing that component on machine in Marathi, it is called as cans. So some of you might be knowing this word in Marathi. Okay, something like this. So it might be knowing. So that is called it. Okay. So while holding the component on the table, it is called as bench hoist. Further, V threads, sharp thread, or what is another name of these threads? V thread, sharp thread, or
Metric.
metric thread. So it is denoted by letter capital M. It is denoted by letter capital M. Okay, letter capital M. Okay. Uh, what is the angle of V thread or metric thread? How much it is there?
60 degree.
60 degree. Okay, and where it is used such type of threads? You might have noted in your
Nut and
notebook.
bolt.
Nut and bolt. Okay, buttress thread. Buttress thread. What is specialty of buttress thread? So one of the profile is at 45 degree and one of the profile is 90 degree, something like that. It is something like this. Again, vertical incline, something like this. Okay, so angle of thread we can call it as a 45. Or two angles will come into picture. 45. Actual theoretically, technically angle is 45, but one of the profile is at 45, one of the profile is vertical. Okay, buttress thread. And while what is the application of this buttress thread? Application of this is
One direction power transmission.
one direction power transmission. That is the application. And last one is knuckle thread. What is knuckle thread? Or what is the idea, or we can say uh, reason behind the knuckle thread? Such type of threads are there for metal component. Is it correct or wrong?
Wrong. Plastic component.
Such type of threads are there for the plastic components, and it is the smoothest, we will say. The profile is very smooth. And what is the angle of thread in case of this? How much angle it is having? How much angle it is having? 30 degree.
30
You
degree.
can see on 30 degree is the angle, and it is used mainly for what? Which type of thread? Which type of thread? It is mainly used for plastic component. Okay, why? What is the reason we have discussed that it is used for plastic component? What is the reason? What is the reason to
Wear
use?
and tear.
To avoid wear and tear, not for avoid to avoid the wear and tear. Up to this, we have seen. After that, we have started to discuss types of nuts. Okay, so which type of nut are we are going to use? Which type of nuts we are going to use in practice? Okay, so list we have discussed. So which are the types of nut? Okay, so these many types of nuts we are going to discuss. Okay, so out of that, first few we might have discussed, maybe hexagonal, maybe square, and etc. Two or three we have discussed. So this is the type of, these are the types of nuts. In day-to-day life, if at all you will come across any type of nut, so you should be able to identify which is the type of nut. So being a mechanical engineer, once you will come across some of the components, you should be able to at least find by what process that component is manufactured. Process. Then what is the material used to manufacture that component, or very basic, we can say. Uh, what which is the component? If you will come across very basic, I am saying. So if you will come across some component, you should be able to identify what is the name of that component. So in general, so here these many types of nuts are there in practical. These many types you might have, some of the types you might be not seen, but these many types are there in the practical actual. So some of the type of nut are very famous. You are coming across many times, but there are certain types of nuts which you may not seen till now. There may be certain types of nuts. So you can somebody read the list which is in front of you. So let us have a practice. So at least we should know which type of nuts are there in practical. So I will give opportunity to Atkale, Pratik Atkale, roll number 15. Pratik, Pratik, will you unmute yourself and just read the list of nuts which are there on the screen? Nothing you have to do. Pratik, roll number 15. Shall we have a practice to remove the student, those who are not giving response? Shall we go for that practice? Roll number 19, Vijay Bhad, Vijay.
Yes,
Vijay.
sir.
Uh, will you read the list which is there in front of you on the screen?
Types of hexagonal
Hmm.
flank nut, uh,
Hmm. Next, Sangram, Sangram Bhosle or what? Sangram Bhosle, roll number 20. Bhosle Sangram. Please unmute yourself and read the list which is in front of you. Or till now I have not started the practice to remove the student which are not giving responses. Till now, so I think that practice should be started. Sairaj, roll number 35. Sairaj, 35. Sairaj, Janakar, roll number 42.
Yes, sir. Types of nut,
Will you read the list? Hmm.
hexagonal nut, square nut, rangeter nut, cap nut, dome nut,
Wing nut, huh?
castle, castle nut and split pin, lock nut and
Huh.
knurling nut.
Knurling nut. Very good. Thank you. So these are the types of nut which we are going to come across. But in day-to-day life, certain nuts are there which are coming across. We are coming across always. Okay, so let us see one by one. There are totally 11 types of nuts are there in practical, so that we are coming across. So first one we have seen hexagonal nut. This already we have discussed related to this hexagonal nut. Who will tell few sentences related to this hexagonal nut from our class? This nut already we have discussed. So why the name is given hexagonal? As we have studied already engineering graphics. So why the name hexagonal is given for this nut? Very basic question. Not pentagonal, etc. Why the hexagonal name is given for this nut?
Periphery is bounded by hexagon.
Very good. Periphery is bounded by hexagon. How many flat surfaces it is having? No, I will not go in depth
6.
of graphics, but still we should know. Huh? 6 flat surfaces it is having. Very good. At least first sentence we should know why the name is given as hexagon. Okay, or hexagonal nut, because its periphery. Its periphery is bound. Here you can see its periphery is bounded by hexagon. Its periphery is bounded by hexagon. You can see here also. Its periphery is bounded by hexagon. That's why it is called as hexagonal. Further, okay. So anything is remain. What is D? What is D in this case? So here it is there D. Here it is there D. But
Major
it is called as
diameter.
major diameter, or it is another name of major diameter.
Nominal.
We are calling. It is also called as nominal diameter. It is also called as nominal diameter. Okay. So how much height it is having? We have discussed what is this height for this nut.
Equal to
It is
nominal diameter.
equal to nominal diameter. In multiple choice question, this may come. The height of hexagonal nut is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. One of the option may be nominal diameter, or etc. D equal to D. So height of the hexagonal nut is equal to D. Okay. Further, we have seen uh, two widths are given for this. So one of the width is called width across flat. Width across flat, and one of the word is called as width across corner. Width across flat, width across corner. How much it is there? It is given again in terms of. It is given again in terms of nominal diameter D. Okay. So width across flat in terms of this D. How much it will be? Very important as far as multiple choice is question concerned. Huh? How much it will be? Width across flat, width
1.5 D
across
plus D.
1.5
D plus D.
plus how much?
D.
D. Once again D. So I think you are not noting down the things. Huh? You should note down this. So 1.5 D plus
Plus
3
3.
plus 3, not D. Plus 3. Keep in mind. Most important. Always you have to remember. For multiple choice question, this question may come. If you open multiple choice question book, you will come to know that 1.5 D plus 3. It is always asked in the exam. Okay, 1.5 D plus 3. Further, width across corner. Width across
2D.
corner. Huh? Width across corner. How much it will be? Width across corner 2D. So which is the larger? Either 2D will be larger or 1.5 D plus 3 will be larger.
2D.
2D automatically 2D will be larger. But these three terms you should know. These two terms you should know. Okay. So 1.5D plus 3, 2D and D. Okay, and why it is called as hexagonal nut. Further, next we have seen square nut. Next we have seen square nut. What is square nut? What should be the first thing we should remember as far as square nut is concerned? What is that? What should be
Periphery
the
is
first?
bounded by square.
Very good. Periphery is bounded by square. Periphery is bounded by square. Further, similar thing now, nothing else, nothing different. Periphery is bounded by square. Then its height already it is here. It is mentioned. Its height is equal to nominal diameter d. Already here it is mentioned. Okay. Then similarly, width across corner and width across flat. Again, these are two similar terms. So it should be d. It should be d. And here width across flat. So here I will do w is equal to 1 point, same, nothing changed. Height point d plus 3. Nothing change. Same. Only what is difference between square nut and hexagonal nut? Difference now I am asking. Other terminology is same. Who will tell difference between square and hexagonal nut? One line difference. What will be the one line difference between square nut and hexagonal nut?
Periphery is bounded by hexagon in hexagonal nut and periphery is bounded by square in square nut.
In case of square nut, how it should be? So I have given one of the homework to study. What is the difference? Likewise, so why it is necessary? In one of the case, periphery is bounded by hexagon, and in one of the case, periphery is bounded by square. Why it is so? Because this internal structure is not going to change. That threading type, etc., it is not going to change at all. It will see. So that internal threading, etc., will remain same. But so what will be the reason? What do you feel? What will be the reason to provide such periphery? Anybody has studied this? Have you studied this? Why it is so? The hexagonal periphery nuts are bounded by hexagonal periphery and square periphery. Why it is so? Have you studied? Have you searched somewhere on Google, etc.? Why it is so? So as we know, so let me tell. So whenever we want to rotate nut or bolt with the help of spanner, with the help of spanner. So one of the nut is used whenever there is a limitation of space. त्या ठिकाणी आपण स्पॅनर फिरवू शकत नाही. There is a limitation of space while rotation of spanner. In that case, one of the nut is used, which will be that square or hexagonal. Now you can apply the mind. So almost 50% answer I have given. Whenever there is a limitation of space is नसतो. Either to fit the spanner and to rotate. Very limited space is there. एखादा नट जर आपल्याला टाईट करायचा असेल तर once we want to fit the nut, there is a limitation of space. In that case, one of the nut is used. That none of the nut is nothing but square nut. Keep in mind. So very rarely you will find this square nut. Okay, very rarely. Otherwise, frequently you will find hexagonal nut. 6 flat surfaces. There is nothing you will find that nut. But whenever there is a limitation of space, you will find square nut is used. So in day-to-day life also you come across. Very rarely you will find this nut, but it is there in the practice. Okay. Further, we have seen this hinged nut. What is this hinged nut? What does it hinged nut? What do you understand from this hinged nut? Anybody remembering? We have discussed this. It is nothing but which type of nut, or it is the subtype of which?
Hexagonal nut.
It is the subtype of hexagonal nut. But what is difference between actual hexagonal nut and this hinged nut?
Washer is attached to its bottom.
Washer is attached to
bottom.
its bottom. So just one attachment is there called as washer. We have discussed this also. Washer at its bottom. That washer is attached at its bottom. So are you remembering why washer is used in case of nut and bolt? Why washer is used in case of nut and bolt?
To increase contact area.
To increase contact area. What will happen once we are going to use contact area? So
Stress will
mechanics,
decrease.
not mechanics, what? From mom, strength of material we have studied. Stress is equal to force upon area. So once we are going to increase area, so what will be the effect on this stress? It will be decrease. It will get decreased. That is the reason to increase the contact area. And what is the dimensions? Okay, or specifications of washer used in flange nut. What is its outer diameter? What is its thickness? So this question may come in your exam. The external diameter of washer used in flange nut is 1, 2, 3, 4 or A, B, C, D, whatever. So what is outer diameter of washer used in flange nut? So what is its outer diameter? So here it is there. How much it is? Huh? How much it is?
2.2 D.
2.2 D. What is D in this case? Suppose your answer is 2.2 D, but what is D? What is D in this case?
Nominal
What is
diameter.
D? Nominal diameter. And what is thickness of the washer used in flange nut? What is thickness? So here it is there. What is thickness?
0.25 D.
0.25 D. So such small things you have to remember that is in front of you. So these things you have to remember. Okay, flange nut, outer diameter is 2.2 D and 0.0 D. Further, dome nut. Dome nut. So looking to the figure, looking to the 3D diagram and 2D diagram in front of you. So what do you feel? What is dome nut? Again, as like this flanged nut, it is the subtype of flanged. It is the subtype of hexagonal nut only. It is the subtype of hexagonal nut only. But at one of the end, dome shape is provided. Dome shape is provided. So something like this. So whatever you are observing, this dome shape is provided. Okay, this dome shape is provided. Okay, maybe something like this. This dome shape is provided. Okay, so what is the reason to provide this dome shape? Number one, once we are going to fit bolt into this nut, once now two purposes are there or applications are there for this. Bolt should not come out of nut. Bolt should not come out of nut. So that is the first reason. Out of nut. Okay. So bolt end. Okay. Why it should not come? Because of two purposes. Main purpose is that bolt end should not come out of the nut. Why? Because to avoid corrosion. Corrosion, and second one is injury to the operator. Means at all bolt end is going to come out of this. There may be in suppose this particular assembly is running. In that case, it may happen that what will happen? It may happen that it will have some injury to operator. To avoid that injury, this is used. And corrosion, you better know in chemistry you have studied. So that is the purpose of dome nut. This one particular structure is provided on the nut. This structure it is called as dome. So this structure is provided on the nut. Okay. So this one is also provided on the nut to avoid the what is the purpose? Purpose of to provide dome shape on the nut. What is the purpose to provide dome shape on the nut? What is the purpose? Huh? Just now I have told what is the
Bolt
purpose.
should not come out of nut.
Very good. Bolt end we will say. Bolt end because total bolt cannot come out of nut, but bolt end may come. इथे एक लक्षात बघा. संपूर्ण बोल्ट काय बाहेर येणार नाही नट, बट बोल्ट एंड शुड नॉट कम आउट ऑफ द नट. व्हाय? आलं तर काय होईल? Why it should not come out of the nut? Bolt end should come out of the nut. Two purposes are there. What was that?
Corrosion and injury.
Corrosion and injury, or to avoid the corrosion of bolt end and to avoid injury to operator. As this assembly is running continuously, so if that bolt end will come out of this nut, it will help us to avoid the injury. That's why this whatever you are observing this, it is very smooth. This particular surface is very smooth. This one is also smooth. That dome shape is very smooth. Okay, likewise, dome, you can see something like this. Dome shape. So it is something. Cap. Further one is cap. Cap nut. Purpose is same. Cap nut. So in first case, for dome and cap nut are one of the same. Only whatever structure is provided, it is different. Otherwise, dome nut and cap nut are one of the same. Are you getting? Purpose is also same. What was the purpose of dome nut? What was the purpose of dome nut? The bolt end should not come out of the nut to avoid corrosion and injury to the operator. Similarly here also. But what is the difference between dome and cap nut? What is the difference between dome and cap nut? Shape is the different. In case of dome nut, dome shape is there, dome. So something like this. Only topmost I am saying something like this. Dome. And in case of this cap nut, so something, it is something like cap. It is something like cap. Like this. Cap. So this will be, I will say it is cap, and it is, I will say it is a dome. I will say it as dome. One is dome, another one is cap. Are you getting? Dome and cap. Okay, further. Otherwise, purpose, it is similar to dome nut, nothing else. It is similar to dome nut. Purpose is also same. So who will tell purpose? Let me know. Roll number 2. You have joined late. Roll number 2. Now you have joined no sometime before. Pasekar. Is it possible for you to tell purpose of dome or cap nut? One of the same. There is nothing difference. Roll number 2 or 1. Joined very late. 1 or 2. Either 1. Abangarao Mayuri or Vasekar Ashwin. Mayuri Abangarao, will you unmute yourself? Roll number 1. Roll number 3. Horrible situation. Roll number 3.
Yes, sir.
What was the purpose of this dome and cap nut?
In dome nut, shape is dome and cap nut shape is cap.
Purpose. What is the purpose?
Bolt end should not come out of nut
Why?
because of
Why it is so?
avoid corrosion and injury avoid.
Oh, very good. To avoid the corrosion and injury. Okay. So if you will see this PPT, you will not find that thing. So that is the specialty of our subject. So if at all you will sit for the exam with this PPT, unless and until you will not listen carefully, you will not able to solve the your exam. So if at all I will give the Xerox copy of this PPTs, and if I will ask to go for the exam, appear for the exam, then also it is not possible to get marks. Keep in mind, unless and until you will not listen the lecture very carefully. Unless and until you will not listen the lecture carefully, it is not possible. Okay, so you will not find this. to avoid the corrosion, to avoid the injury to operator. Okay, so the bolt end should not come out of nut. You will not find somewhere. That's why I'm telling. Listen the lecture very carefully. Okay, any problem related to dome nut and cap nut? Have you understood? Purpose is same. All things are same in case of dome and cap. Only top surface is the difference. Or we can say whatever surface is given, it is different. Otherwise, all things are same. Any problem? Dome and cap? Any problem related to dome and cap nut? If not, we will go next. Wing nut. Wing nut. So wing. What is the meaning of wing in Marathi? Wingला काय म्हणायचं मराठीत? अभिषेक जाधव 13. Wing.
Hello, sir.
अवताडे जगन्नाथ.
Yes, sir.
Wing means what? Wing.
Pankh.
Pankh. Okay, very good. So have you seen such type of nut in practical? असे नट बघितलेत का प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये वापरलेले कुठे नट आहेत त्याला नट का म्हणायचो कोण सांगते बिफोर आय विल आस्क हॅव यू सीन सच टाइप ऑफ नट आय विल आस्क व्हाय टू कॉल इट एज नट त्याला नट का म्हणायचं त्याला बोल्ट का म्हणायचं नाही व्हाय वी शुड कॉल इट एज नट
It is having internal threading.
Very good. It is having internal threading. Very basic. Why we should call it as a nut? Why not bolt? Because it is having internal threading. Nuts are having internal threading. Bolts are having external threading. Now, my next question: have you seen such type of nut in practical? Have you seen such type of nut in practical? असे नट कुठं पाहिलेत का? Something like this. Not exactly, but something की ज्या नटला असे पंख आहेत वरती पंख. We can. हा, where we have seen somebody is giving answer.
सर ते एकटा पान धरा येत नसेल ना व्यवस्थित पाईप कापताना त्यावेळेस ते ऍडजस्ट करताना वापरतो.
कुठं Hexaw. Very good, correct. Hexaw is one of the application. Very good. One of the application is Hexaw. Hexaw ऐकू आलं बरं का आपण Hexaw मध्येच हे नट असतात. One of that application Hexaw. Okay. To adjust the length. Okay, that is correct. Any other places? So as like, if you'll see this, what is this wing nut actually? Wing nut means what? This nut is having projections on its periphery. Projection means what? Projection. ग्राफिक्स मधलं प्रोजेक्शन विचारलं नाही. प्रोजेक्शन मीन्स उंचवटा. प्रोजेक्शन PROJE. Projection means उंचवटा. So this type of nut are having projections on its periphery. म्हणजे त्याच्यावरती something like wing we can say. पंख असल्यासारखं याला. Something like what the case birds are having. No, such type of wing. So in similar fashion, it is having projection on its periphery. Okay. Where this such type of nuts are used? Where this such type of nuts? So you might have seen nowadays. I am doubtful. I am doubtful. स्टोव कुणी पाहिलाय का स्टोव मराठी आहे स्टोव पाहिलाय स्टोव ज्याच्यावरती आपण इट इज वन ऑफ द वी कॅन से व्हॉट इन्स्ट्रुमेंट फ्रॉम किचन किचन मध्ये असतो बघा स्टोव पाहिलाय का कोणी स्टोव हॅव यू सीन समवेअर स्टोव हा शब्द ऐकलाय का तरी
Yes, sir.
ऐकलाय ओके असतो का स्टोव मध्ये कुठं असं असते असं नसतं एक्झॅक्टली बट हिअर इट इज नट and on that the structure is provided wing structure where we are putting where we are filling kerosene स्टोव मध्ये केरोसिन असतं ना रॉकेल असतं ना स्टोव मध्ये असतं का पाहिलंय का नाही आय एम डाऊटफुल त्याच्यापेक्षा पुढचं एक्झाम्पल देतो. किचन मध्ये शेगडी असते आपली, गॅसची शेगडी. Once we are going to take lighter in our hand, once we are going to rotate that knob, एक knob असतो बघा, तो आपण काय करतो, फिरवतो आणि काय what we are calling lighter, just we are putting fire on the gas. तर तो एक नटच असतो ब्लॅक कलरचा, किचन मध्ये पाहू शकता सगळेजण. इट इज ऑल्सो वन टाइप ऑफ विंग नट. त्याला नट का म्हणायचं, बिकॉज अगेन इट इज हॅव्हिंग इंटरनल थ्रेडिंग. बिकॉज इट इज हॅव्हिंग इंटरनल थ्रेडिंग. त्या नटला वरती एक प्रोजेक्शन दिलेलं आहे. सगळेजण पाहू शकता, किचन मध्ये गॅस प्रत्येकाच्या घरी असतो. तर त्या ब्लॅक कलर अगेन इट इज ब्लॅक कलर. सो जस्ट वी आर immediately we are rotating, we are putting the lighter, we are firing, etc. So in that case, but basic reason why it is so, why this projection is given on the nut, basic reason, many more types, again hexagon to adjust the length, etc. In that case also it is used. To wing nut, the purpose of wing nut is to avoid use of spanner. याचे प्रोजेक्शन का दिलेले आहेत, असे प्रोजेक्शन का दिलेले आहेत? What is the purpose? To give the projection on nut. What is the purpose? To avoid, काय अवॉइड करण्यासाठी? To avoid use of spanner. To avoid use of spanner. आपल्याला स्पॅनर वापरायचा नाही सारखा. That's सारखा नाही, कधीच वापरायचं नाही, because always adjustment is there in such type of case. Even in case of summer season, something like what is that we are calling it is something like that one instrument is there where we are putting the knob, etc. In that case, otherwise what will happen, suppose we will take example of our kitchen. Whenever we want to put fire to our gas, what will happen? Always we have to take spanner, we have to loose or tight that nut using spanner, then we have to take lighter and put on fire, etc. काय झालं असतं आपल्या किचन मध्ये, आपल्याला ज्यावेळी गॅस पेटवायचा असतो त्यावेळी आपल्याला स्पॅनर घेऊन जावं लागलं असतं सारखं. तो नट फिरवायचा, ते चालू होणार, then we have to put fire, etc. To avoid these projections are given on the nut. म्हणजे सगळं अवॉइड करायचं असेल तर या प्रोजेक्शन केलेल्या आहेत. Are you getting? It is the type of wing nut. That's why it is the type of wing nut. To avoid use of spanner whenever there is frequent adjustment, wing nuts are used. And also whenever it will avoid the use of spanner, त्याच्यामध्ये आपण स्पॅनर वापरू. याला स्पॅनर वापरता येईल का, कुठं बसवणार? इन द केस ऑफ hexagonal nut we can put spanner on its periphery, but here where we have to use spanner, स्पॅनर वापरता येईल का? शक्य आहे का ह्याला स्पॅनर वापरणं विंग नटला? what do you feel, is it possible to use spanner in this case? huh? what do you feel, वापरू शकतो का आपण स्पॅनर? हो तरी म्हणा, नाही तरी म्हणा. Is it possible to use spanner in this case? काय बोलत नाही. What is roll number 6 go रे, दीपाली. कोण आहे दीपाली go रे?
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to use spanner in this case?
No, sir.
Absolutely not. And what is the purposes to use this wing nut? There are two purposes to use wing nut. One is whenever there is always adjustment, in that case we can use wing nut. And whenever we don't want, or whenever we don't want to use spanner, or wing nut are not designed to use spanner. स्पॅनरचा यूज जर अवॉइड करतात विंग नट मध्ये. आणि दुसरं whenever there is frequent adjustment, in that case. So can somebody tell, what do you understand? Are you getting this diagram? As you have learned the graphics, so this diagram is also important. So this one is front view, this one is front view, and this one is top view. So you will see from the front in this way how it will be. So these projections are there. So here it is one projection, again here it is another projection. Okay, in this way. the middle structure. And once we are going to see from the top, so these projections are here. Okay, so these projections are here. These projections are here. Okay, in this way. Okay, so this is the type of wing nut, or we are calling it as a wing nut. This one is the type of wing nut. Have you understood? Have you understood this? So how many types you have seen, or we have seen till now? So you can see right from the hexagonal nut. Okay, then square nut, hinged nut, dome nut, cap nut, and wing nut. Further are there, but as one by one, we have to go further. Wing nut. So purposes of wing nut, whenever there is frequent adjustment, and this type of nuts avoids the use of spanner, because always it is not possible to use the spanner. So it is frequent adjustment is there in this type of case. Gas, we can take example of that gas knob. Always we have to maybe make it small, make it large, something like that. Okay, or the start stop always. Or is it possible to take spanner, joint it, etc. That's why it is used. Okay. Further, capstan nut. Capstan. So if you see how is the periphery of this nut? Looking to the diagram, how is the periphery of this nut?
Round.
Round. Its periphery is round. Okay. So purpose of this nut is what? Purpose of this nut is what? Whenever we want to drill, so actually this is the type having holes on periphery. So it's one line question. What is capstan nut? What is capstan nut? So immediately answer should come. What is capstan nut? It is the nut having holes on its periphery. असा नट आहे की ज्याच्या पेरिफेरीवरती होल्स आहेत. And what is the purpose of this nut? Purpose of this nut to drill the hole on periphery. To drill the holes on the periphery. That is the purpose of capstan nut. What is the purpose of capstan nut? To drill the holes on periphery. Now how? Question may come how? कसं काय शक्य? Just we have to take this nut and tight on the bolt or the component where you want to go for drilling. Actually, in practical, you will see. Suppose there is one any practical component is just something like some component. Okay, maybe this. And you want to drill the holes. You want to drill the holes like this. Suppose असे holes पाडायचे तुम्हाला component something like this. So, what do you feel? एखाद्या component वरती जर periphery drill पाडायचे असतील, is it that way easy thing? सोपा आहे का? Till now you have not learned any machine related subject. So it will say if at all you want to drill the holes on the periphery, it is not that way easy. इतकी सोपी गोष्ट नाही drill the hole. That's why this one component already we have to take and tight on the required component. Drills are already there on this nut. So through that drill, we have to drill the hole. Finish. Not necessary to measure angle, measure something, etc. Nothing we have to do. Directly, what we have to do? Drill the holes. So what is capstan nut? It is the nut bounded by a round periphery. It is the bounded by a round periphery having drilled a hole on it. Drilled a hole. And what is the purpose to use this capstan nut? Whenever we want to drill holes on periphery, capstan nut is used. Whenever we want to drill holes on periphery, capstan nut is used. This capstan nut is used. Who will tell? What do you understand from capstan nut? कोण सांगेल मग capstan nut बद्दल काय समजलं? What is capstan nut? What is its purpose? All the things are in front of you. What is capstan nut? Abhijit Gavli, 29. Abhijit. What is capstan nut? Abhijit, you are not audible.
It is a sphere is
I think you
rounded.
are trying. Ah, rounded or it is bounded by round shape?
Bounded by round shape, sir.
Bounded by round shape. And what is another specialty again? फक्त राऊंड शेप बाउंड झालाय का त्याला ड्रिल वगैरे आहेत
It is a त्याच्यावर सर मराठी सांगितला त्याच्यावर सर सर्कल आहे सर स्पेअर आहेत.
Okay. What is the purpose? Application? What is the purpose of this
Whenever
nut?
you want to drill, use to capstan nut.
So very good. Whenever we want to drill the holes, we can use capstan nut
Capstan.
because the drills are already there on the drills are already or are there on the this type of nut. That is the purpose of